Thanks for staying tuned. You're still watching iBrand Daybreak. Now it's time to bring you up to date with what's happening in the world of sports. And we'll start with the shocking news that Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich was poisoned during his peace talks during the Ukraine and Belarus, at the Ukraine and Belarus border, I beg your pardon, where it was mediating in the Russian-Ukraine crisis. Now, this happened early this month, between March 3rd and March 4th, where Abramovich was said to have led a delegation from Moscow to the Belarusian border to negotiate with the Ukrainian delegation that also included the Ukrainian president at some point where he met with him. And that reports that three delegates from that meeting suffered chemical weapons poisoning, with Abramovich suffering sore eyes as well as his skin peeling off, although he has recuperated from that. One of the other two victims are said to be Ukrainians, including the Ukrainian politician from Crimea, who was also a victim of the attack. Another report has also insisted that it isn't a chemical weapon attack, but rather simply an environmental factor that led to the eye irritation as well as the peeling of the skin. But this is coming as negotiations continue between both teams, even as Abramovich's role in the peace talks is still unclear to both sides, having mediated both in Moscow and in Kiev. Now, moving away from there, let's talk about tennis, and it's all about the Miami Open, also known as the Miami Masters, which is ongoing. I have Dani Medvedev, the world number 2, the Russian, having progressed into the round of 16, courtesy of a straight sets win 6-3, 6-4 over Spain's Pedro Martinez, and he's just 2 wins away from reclaiming the world number 1 ranking from Novak Djokovic, having displaced the Serbian earlier this year from the top of the rankings, but lost it when he couldn't make it through in the Indian Wells all the way to the semi-final. Should he make a semi-final bet at Miami Masters, then he would reclaim the world number 1 rankings, and he faces America's Dennis Brooksby next, even in his quest to claim the world number 1 ranking once again. In the women's section, you have the new world number 1 Iga Swiatek also making it to through to the next round alongside 7th ranked Naomi Osaka, who was also able to progress 6-3, 6-4 over Alison Risk. Now for Iga Swiatek, she's trying to complete a Red Sunshine double, which is winning the Indian Wells as well as the Miami Masters, the first 2 Masters titles for the year. And it's yet to be seen if the new world number 1 will be able to achieve that. Now, moving away from there, let's wrap it up with boxing. And it's all about the Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk rematch, which is now on. The latest is that Usyk's promoter, Alexander Krasik, has insisted that they're looking at late June for the new date of the bout, and Saudi Arabia is a likely destination. Remember, Anthony Joshua fought his rematch between the Andy Ruiz fight, where he reclaimed his titles at the desert, and that was in 2019 December precisely. So there's the possibility that he'll have to go there once again in his quest to reclaim his IBA, WBA, WBO world heavyweight titles, which he lost to Alexander Usyk last year. But for Usyk, is preparing, is back in camp and is training. So June, there's the likely date. I'm sure in the coming days we'll have clarity regards the venue as well as the date for the bout. And that's about it when it comes to the world of sports. Up next is the social media buzz segment, and then we have Perpetua Fasome Peter standing by already to take us through what's buzzing on social media and how Nigerians are reacting to it. Pep, good morning.
Hi,
Good
Pep.
morning.
Good morning, Pep.
Yeah. Good to be with you this morning.
It's good to have you on board.
Same here.
Same here.
So what's buzzing? I know there are a handful of things.
Oh
really,
yeah,
but
so many things.
What's
You know, I
happening?
was actually wondering which to talk about and which not to talk about. There are so many things, but we'll just stick with 2 for now.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Social Media Buzz. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. A train conveying passengers from Abuja to Kaduna was attacked by gunmen suspected to be bandits in Kaduna State. One of the passengers on the train reported that bandits bombed the train track with an improvised explosive device, IED, which forced the train to derail. Upon the stoppage of the train, the assailants were said to have begun to fire gunshots sporadically. A passenger, Anas Dansuma, took to his Facebook handle to cry for help. Dan Musa's cry for help, according to Dan Musa, nobody could come to their rescue about 1 hour into the incident as the assailants tried to force their way into the train. After about 20 minutes, Dan Musa confirmed that army personnel have arrived at the scene of the attack. It will be recalled that terrorists numbering over 200 on Saturday invaded the Kaduna International Airport located in Igabi local government area in Kaduna State, disrupting operation and killing one security personnel of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. The train attack got many Nigerians talking, and here are their comments. We'll start with Omojua. Here's what Omojua has to say. He said the Abuja-Kaduna train getting attacked doesn't bode well. Clearly, the bandits are trying to get people back to traveling by road. I hope the Nigerian army prioritizes these terrorists. They are now more dangerous. Beg your pardon. They are now more dangerous than Boko Haram. And away from that, we have at BizGuy 10 BizGuy saying, the people who do not like the people who don't like APC and PMB are most likely behind this and any other terrorist activities in Nigeria. I'm not an APC member and not even in any party, but PDP, some members, is my #1 suspect. They are desperate to get into power. This is coming from Saddam of Saddams, whose handle is BizGuy 10 BizGuy. And away from that, we have at IamOmo_T. Are we going to continually be at the mercy of this government that hardly value any Nigerian human lives? Quite unfortunate. No means of traveling is guaranteed anymore. And another one we have at Ikmohit. First close to the airport and now these guys are making a bold statement. Now these are the reactions we got from Nigerians, and for me I like to start with the second person, and that is Saddam of Saddam saying the people who don't like APC and PMB are most likely behind this. You know, this is unfortunate because I remember when Boko Haram started, this was what we had around it, and that was why you know, Boko Haram fettered until it became what it is today. This is not the time to start name calling, or this is not the time to start saying it's one party or the other. It's something we have to address frontally as Nigerians. It is our problem and we need to address it frontally. But of course, I'd like to know what you think based on all the tweets.
Well, like you just rightly picked from the second comment, which I was going to do with that. There's no need politicizing this thing. It's a problem. Like you said, it's our problem. We should face it, and no need to name call. If it's from the PDP to APC or whoever, for crying out loud, it may not even be from those people you are calling, because of course no fingers will be pointed at them. That's just one part. So it's not time to politicize whatever. People have been injured, people were kidnapped, abducted. One of the doctors a doctor who was in the train that tweeted about being shot. Reports just had it this morning that she died. So it's not time to name call or say it's APC, PDP thing. It's a Nigerian thing. It's a Nigerian factor. We should prioritize certain things and not use it as an opportunity to say people who hate PMB or people who do not like APC. There's no need for that.
It's unnecessary.
The reason people, you know, probably name call is because it's the reality we have here. Oftentimes within our political landscape, you have saboteurs, and these saboteurs are oftentimes funded by, you know, members of the opposition. Sometimes it could also be members of the ruling party who are just trying to, you know, have their way by frustrating, you know, the efforts of the government. Again, you're right when you say, oh, we shouldn't name call, or people shouldn't name call. It's a Nigerian problem. All hands should be on deck. We should face it and all of that. But the truth again is, you can't rule out the place of sabotage. You know, in all of these efforts, if the government is trying to put another means of transportation in place in terms of be it coaches, railway lines, and what have you, and you have certain terrorists, because bandits have been, you know, gazetted as terrorists. Yes. So if you now have certain terrorists blowing up rail lines and, you know, blowing up couches, attacking, they are basically sabotaging the effort of the government. So you have to put all of these things into perspective. When you say do not name call, you're right. It's a Nigerian problem. It should be seen
what we're saying is don't politicize.
But again, when you say politicize, sometimes the truth looks like it's been politicized. You cannot rule out the fact that
you can't say that if you do not have proof.
Exactly,
that's why it's important that, you know, we refrain from name calling.
Exactly. That's why I said, for those who are of that opinion, it's simply because of precedents, what they've seen in time past, you know,
that has happened before.
That's why I'm saying that it's a Nigerian problem. It has to be addressed as a Nigerian problem, and all hands on deck, you know, to be able to address it. But you cannot rule out the place of sabotage too.
Okay.
Absolutely. And for me, I also think it's important that this is addressed frontally. Because, I mean, just a few days ago, we had what happened in the airport, and now this is another one. And so my question is, what exactly is going on? Because this is the form of transportation, the means of transportation that so many of us rely on.
And
I mean, recently, do you understand?
Yeah.
A friend of mine is getting married, and I'm telling myself I'm going by train, no travel, because it's just a battle and all. So now with all of those things, you're afraid, you're wondering, is this preferred means even safe to start with? I remember when something like this happened in 2021, that was October, Mechi, the Minister of Transportation, was saying something about the fact that they're going to secure the tracks, they're going to have more military security presence and all of that. And so when this happened, I asked myself, he said these things are going to be done. Have they been done?
You know one thing about this train issue, I remember when the train, this Kaduna Abuja,
yes, in 2021,
yeah,
October.
No, not even that. When it just started up, when they had to buy new trains, I know I used the train within that period from Abuja to Kaduna and back. I know then Abuja-Kaduna Expressway was a death trap. We had people kidnapping there. We had terrorists.
Exactly.
It was the hit of it. So I needed to go to Kaduna from Abuja, from Port Harcourt to Abuja. Then I had to use the train because, of course, you will not use. My family was all about don't do that because you know families. And then we saw top political officials using this train.
Shehu Sani is always in the train.
the train station, I will say that the train station in Idu, Abuja, is finer than some airports we have in Nigeria at the time. Now I saw a lot of people with their entourage coming into the train station with their aides, booking the VIP section of the train with their policemen. So in my head, I was like, okay, now we have a safer option than the Kaduna Abuja Expressway. And back again, it was affordable. VIP was 3,000 naira. Regular was 1,500. So come on, who would want to be? And that's safe option because the roads were bad. Now looking at what the government had put in place to ensure that these trains are locomotives, they are in 2 hours. We were already in Kaduna, and it was something to applaud. It was really beautiful trains.
It's a hope that the government is really able to
address and now see that this
we
is
don't
happening.
Want a recurrence,
no, actually,
really.
there was security for the train at the point. So probably it stopped for a while because for government officials to be safe, to feel safe enough to use the train, there would have been security measures put at some strategic points of the railway.
Well, we'll have all that information later on. Well, moving on very quickly, let's check some of the videos. Before we see the video, this is at MC_Asubaba saying, Alhamdulillah, I just spoke on phone with my brother and friend, Mohammed Mahmoud Amin, APC, that's National Youth Leader aspirant, who was shot on the leg on the on the attacked train this evening. He's alive and on their way to the hospital with the military personnel. Now, the reason this came up was because someone tweeted, Eli, that thing the Muslims, that thing they say when somebody dies, somebody tweeted it, and then there were confusion about is he dead or not. So this was just to say, no, he's not dead. He's still alive. And then we have some videos that we'll probably just see videos from the incident. Okay, so since I guess we don't have that now, very quickly we'll move on to the second story. Well, this second story started yesterday anyway, but it's still on. People are still talking about it. It's not likely going down anytime soon. And then we'll talk about this particular one. The Will Smith and Chris Rock saga has rekindled conversations around what is appropriate in comedy and what is not. Adding his voice to the conversation, Nigerian music executive Ubi Franklin has called out Bovi for using his children as material for joke. In his words, well, we have that up there. In his words, we have it up there. I guess you can see it where he was talking about violence not being the right way and not being the thing to do. This is the way now. You yab me, we get on it straight. Or you yab me and I yab you with receipts of the things the world don't know right on my page here, and we will go anywhere you want from there. Comedy should not be used as a decoy to disrespect people on national TV. Bovi, you did this at last year's Headies, and I sent your friends and close allies to warn you. Do not try it again. I'm struggling with stuff and trying to put myself together. And you go on live TV to talk about my kids, Bovi. Until next time, thank you. Well, he said another thing. He said people should respect other people's life struggles. It is already bad the world know your inside gist, and it is always used as content for comedians. That's bad and disrespectful. I do not support violence, but you don't go on live television and be disrespectful. Protect your family. I have so much respect for comedians. I worked as a PA to one, Julius Argo, many years ago. But comedians need to know their limits. They have their own dirty past and present. They also have things they struggle with. Try and tone it down. Some jokes are very sensitive. Well, we have OC_Suave responding to that saying, bro, it's a reason why they are called comedians. It's a joke. If we start getting sensitive over jokes, then comedy is literally dead. But then Ubi frankly responded by saying, bro, trust me, I know a joke and I know it's slander. Hope I have a right to post my own jokes about a person on my page, or I know be comedian, or that's what we have. And a lot of Nigerians have actually come in to say a thing or two. I'd like you to just respond to that. Samson?
Well, again, there's the place of being sensitive. There's the place of trying to find humor in certain people's, plight. But again, it's all about sensitivity. It's a thin line, really. When Osiswara is talking about, oh, it's a joke if it's no longer a joke, I get where he's coming from, but you have to be sensitive as well. Now, you find out that virtually all comedians have been found wanting in this regard too, at one point or the other, including the principal character, Will Smith himself. He has also cracked jokes about other people before that has come off as maybe a bit off, maybe a bit too, extreme. But for all of these, it's the place of violence that everyone is condemning. That you have issues against someone, making a joke about your loved one, that ways you go about it rather than an outright physical assault. And, beyond the talks of, oh, maybe his Oscar would be taken off him and all of that, I think it's the violence that people are condemning. And that's not the way to go about it. I think comedians as well should be sensitive that people are going through a lot, and you don't just crack a joke out of it as a means of you making money while others are, going through that psychological and mental, trauma.
Absolutely. Yes, you want to say something about Bovi, Ubi Franklin?
Yeah, you don't make a joke out of people's plight, firstly. And secondly, there's a place to understand that some people are sensitive. Some people, words can kill faster than actual violence. Now, that's what I think, because like I would always say, today will never come again. Be a friend, be a companion. Let your words heal and not wound. So you could say something to somebody and someone else to take it, okay, she just said it, and sieve out what he or she needs to sieve out from it. But the next person is thinking the same words, is going home to think, someone said I'm fat. Someone said I am
not good enough.
I am not good enough. Someone said I am not mature, I am not motherly, I am not, and then you're thinking, am I really? Now you could some other person would take that, but some am I really not motherly? Am I really not mature? Am I really this way? Am I really that way? And then your person is thinking, why would someone say this to me? I may be trying to be that kind of person, and you're saying this. So just people take things differently. So you don't come out to crack jokes out of people's plight. And for crying out loud, people are entitled to how they choose to react. Violence may not be the best option, but you can't control
dictate how someone would react.
If someone can't control what you say to them, you shouldn't be able to control how the person would react. Some other person would have explained, I don't like this kind of joke, but some other person feel better when violence is not the best option.
Definitely not the option.
But then you can't control how people react to things because you don't know the level of hurt that statement had caught. So people should always taste your words before the speech. Before you tell the next person that I think you have a big head, think, would that person be able to take it with the way I mean it, or as a joke, so person does not go and slide into depression.
All right, let's take some of the other comments we have. Okay, we have this one from Helen and Nelcher saying, make una stop the use people family cat cruise. And then we have everything.ng saying, you can make a joke without bringing family into it. There is what's called constructive jokes. We have Diamond Lisbeth saying, anything said at the expense of another person's feelings is not funny. This is why the present generation would make insensitive statements, then go ahead to claim it all cruise. People should stop covering insensitivity with cruise or joke. All right, and then finally we have this particular one Just _Joker saying, normally Nigerian stand-up comedians lack content, so they just make jest of those that pay millions for their tables at their shows right in front of them. Thankfully, the IG skit makers are way ahead of them in content. And that's the last one we have there from Just Ujoka. I think it's also important to mention that Will Smith has actually apologized to Chris Rock, saying violence is never an option. And I guess we saw that earlier. What did he say?
You shouldn't have taken the highway before.
Oh, well, you can say that again. But, you know, on the spur of the moment, sometimes there's this knee-jerk reaction when something happens.
It wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, because when Chris Rock was, cracking the joke, he gave it an awkward laugh at first. It wasn't like it was immediately he stormed the stage to slap him. No. He gave an awkward laugh.
And then what happened later? You know, there are times you hear something, you're not sure what you've done.
That's the point. The fact that you can take your time, a minute or two to assimilate, then it's no more a knee-jerk reaction. In the law courts, if you take a minute or two before you react violently like that, it's deemed premeditated.
That means that's
because it's not on the spot.
Deeply for him to have taken his time.
That's my point.
So,
he shouldn't have taken the highway. It's good that he apologized, but he shouldn't have taken the highway. If it was immediately on the spot, it's a different thing. When the joke was made, he laughed. He gave an awkward laugh. Waited.
But then the two parties actually at fault here. The comedian.
Yeah. No one is absolving anyone from blame.
All right. So we have just as we wrap up the segment now, we want to give a better shout out to our amazing costumier, Duji Parosia. We wish you a happy birthday. Thank you for the amazing costumes. Thank you for, of course, your craft. Talk about skills and as a means of empowerment. She has amazing pieces, amazing designs. Please do well to look her up, patronize her, and we wish you a happy birthday, many more years, more life, and everything you've ever wished for. Happy birthday to you. We appreciate you. What do you have to say, Perpetua and Samson?
Well, happy birthday to her. She does amazing clothing, seriously, especially her tops. I like them. Though they are really very nice. I like the statement. She makes statement pieces. That's what I was saying.
Statement pieces. Oh, yes. Something?
Well, she's great at what she does. I've seen you guys rock some of them, and I think
I'll probably rock one tomorrow.
I just expect that she should consider the male gender. It shouldn't be gender specific, you know.
Oh, come on, it's not. All right, her Instagram handle now is Parosia 2030 Fashion. On TikTok, she's Parosia, Parousia 2030, and her phone number is 08033159577. All right, thank you so much. This is where we call it a wrap on iBrandTV today. We appreciate you. Do well to join us tomorrow for another interesting segment. I am Margaret Opera.
And I am Perpetua Fast Repeater. Thanks for staying with us.
And I'm Samson Olede. Do have a wonderful day.